I get this out there really quickly. Um, just seen this come up now in my news feed, and what they're saying technically here shouldn't be happening. Huge dust cloud of pollution over Devon and Cornwall will put vulnerable people at risk. The government has warned that it will expose the most vulnerable to more health risks. Despite today's clear blue skies and bright sunshine, an air pollution forecast is warning that some parts of Devon and Cornwall are to be hit by a dust cloud, resulting in isolated high levels of pollution in some areas. Where's this pollution coming from? There was only saying 2 days ago, there was a report out saying, oh, well, the pollution levels are down because there's less people on the road and there's less planes in the air and all this. Well, there's still planes in the air, but there's less. So how are we suddenly getting this cloud of pollution? The government has warned it will expose the most vulnerable to more health risks. The Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs, sure they used to be separate, warns that people with asthma and other breathing problems, how convenient, should avoid physical activity during periods of very high pollution that some parts of the UK is experiencing. The cloud of pollution will cover southern England and parts of Wales and is expected to hang over the Isles until Sunday. The highest levels will be seen in Cornwall, with Land's End reaching the highest level of air pollution. High levels will also be seen in Salcombe and Thurleston. The levels in areas such as Exeter and Barnstaple today are moderate and low for tomorrow. Now look at this. This takes me back to a story. Let me find it here. I have got it bookmarked somewhere. Here we go. This is a very old article. Millions were in germ war tests. The Ministry of Defence turned large parts of the country into a giant laboratory to conduct a series of secret germ warfare tests on the public. A government report just released a while ago, it's an old story, provides for the first time a comprehensive official history of Britain's biological weapons trials between 1940 and 1979. Many of these tests involved releasing potentially dangerous chemicals and microorganisms over vast swathes of the population without the public being told. While details of some secret trials have emerged in recent years, the 60-page report reveals new information about more than 100 covert experiments. The report reveals that military personnel were briefed to tell any inquisitive inquirer the trials were part of research projects into weather and air pollution. Any alarm bells going off in your head? There's a few going off in mine. The report reveals the military personnel were the tests carried out by the government scientists at Porton Down were designed to help the MOD assess Britain's vulnerability if the Russians were to have released clouds of deadly germs over the country. So to see what would happen if the Germans did it, we did it ourselves. Sorry, the Russians did it. We did it ourselves, even though the Russians were our allies during the Second World War, but there you go. In most cases, the trials did not use biological weapons, but alternatives, which scientists believe would mimic germ warfare and which the MOD claimed were harmless. But families in certain areas of the country who have children with birth defects are demanding a public inquiry. I don't think it ever came. One chapter of the report, the fluorescent particle trials, reveals how between 1955 and 1963, planes flew from northeast England to the tip of Cornwall along the south and west coasts, dropping huge amounts of zinc, cadmium, used to be cadmium, but there you go, cadmium sulfide on the population. The chemical drifted miles inland, its fluorescence allowing the spread to be monitored. In another trial using zinc cadmium sulfide, a generator was towed along a road near Frome in Somerset, where it spewed the chemicals for an hour. While the government has insisted the chemical is safe, cadmium is recognised as a cause of lung cancer, and during the Second World War was considered by the Allies a chemical weapon. In another chapter, large area coverage trials, the MOD describes how between 1961 and 1968, more than 1 million people along the south coast of England, from Torquay to the New Forest, the very area we're talking about now, were exposed to bacteria including E. coli and Bacillus globeci. You know, what? Which mimics anthrax. Lovely. These releases came from the military ship, the Ice Whale, anchored off the Dorset coast, which sprayed microorganisms in 5 to 10 mile radius. Well, if we go back to that story and get rid of all the bleeding pop-ups, is this what they're doing right now? Because it's coming inland from the sea there. Is this what they're doing right now? Oh, and look at this. Just by pure coincidence, over on the right here. RAF on why massive military plane is still thundering over Exeter. And we've seen this all around the country. Showed you yesterday about stories of where the military are flying over. And they've already got stories in place to explain it. This is absolutely fucking frightening, guys. This is... Let's see if cases suddenly rise in the south-west region of the country. Exeter, Devon, Cornwall, all those areas. Let's get the live flight tracker up as well here and just see if we can catch any planes. It's most likely it's been done by ship as it was before. There's no planes over this area at all. Where's that one going? Memphis to Paris. It just seems to be doing circles around. I mean, you don't know if these are spraying stuff while they're out, do you? It's something they've admitted to doing many times. But this is the area here at the bottom of the UK. Just if you're not from the UK, you'll be able to see here. This is the area they're saying it will be affected, and it's the same one that was affected in those released reports. Well, looking at that, the Isles of Scilly might be affected as well. So it'd be interesting. Let's see if we have a sudden rise in this area of cases. Lots of flights going out of Memphis today to all over the world. London to New York, Virgin Atlantic. Now FedEx, another Memphis. Maybe these are FedEx as well then. Right, okay, so they're FedEx planes. Okay, that explains that. But yeah, let's watch out for this, guys, because to me, it stinks of history repeating itself.